Let's begin this candidates forum. Our first group of candidates include Republican Jenny P. Dorsey and Democrat Renee C. Flores. Candidates, please make sure you are unmuted and that your video is on, which I can see you both. Let's begin with an opening statement from Ms. Dorsey. And you have 2 minutes.
Yes, and go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Thank you, League of Women Voters, for hosting this forum, and thank you for allowing me to participate. As a prosecutor for more than 13 years, I've seen the devastation that family violence causes our families and causes our community. As the county attorney, I will be one of the first points of contact for victims of domestic violence in the legal system. What we can do is educate those families and try to do more to break that cycle of violence in our community. Often there is a significant gap in time between the time a victim deals with the county attorney who handles their protective order and the district attorney who may criminally prosecute any alleged assault. We desperately need to work more closely as county attorneys with the district attorney, that office, to ensure that information is shared between those offices and between those agencies wherever and whenever possible to create a seamless continuity of care for victims of domestic violence. And as a mother of 4 beautiful boys and having trained as a high school English teacher before law school, I feel a very real connection to all our children and young adults. I want very much to help those people who intervene to rescue those children who are in violent and abusive living situations. As county attorney, in representing CPS in a fair and efficient way, we help the children and we help the families of Nueces County. We educate families, we reunite families whenever possible, and we remove children only as a last resort. And finally, the county attorney represents the Nueces County in matters where they are sued civilly. As a lawyer in both civil and criminal practice since 2002, I can help defend the county against those lawsuits and protect the pocketbook of Nueces County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Flores, it's time for your opening statement.
Hello, thank you. And thank you, League of Women Voters, for giving me this forum. As always, doing an outstanding job in serving our community. My name is Renee C. Flores, and I'm running for county attorney because I believe I have the experience and the background to best fulfill the obligations of this position. I'm the only candidate who has experience at the Nueces County Attorney. As a former chief of litigation at the Nueces County Attorney, I disposed of many cases, saving the taxpayers millions of dollars. My successor is why the present Nueces County Attorney, Laura Jimenez, who is retiring, has endorsed me. I also have extensive legal experience as a private and public attorney of 28 years. I am a graduate of Princeton University and the University of California, Berkeley Law School. The county attorney represents the county in all legal matters. CPS and removal of children from homes where they are abused and neglected and victims of family violence by securing protective orders, and seeks mental commitments for those who are in danger to themselves and to others. I have the experience as chief of litigation in the responsibilities and all the responsibilities of the county attorney, having successfully represented the county, CPS, and domestic violence victims. I was born and raised here in Corpus Christi and the son of hardworking parents who immigrated from Mexico. I went to Westoso ISD K-12, where I graduated with honors before I went to Princeton and UC Berkeley Law School. I worked for a couple of years at a private litigation firm before I went on to become Laura Jimenez, the present county attorney's chief of litigation. And then subsequently, I became a federal public defender, and now I'm back into private practice. When I took over the office of the chief of litigation, I led an effort to dispose of many civil rights and employment cases that were pending. They're saving the taxpayers millions of dollars as the county is self-insured. My goal at the county attorney is to continue the great work that Laura Jimenez has done, but make improvements where necessary, including increasing the retention rate of staff. And I would ask for your vote for county attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Okay, now we're start with the questions that have been submitted for you. The first one, I'll ask Ms. Dorsey to go first. And the question is, what do you think has been the greatest impact of COVID-19 on the operations of the county attorney's office? And do you believe there have been some outcomes which may positively impact how the county attorney's office functions as we move forward?
Well, we have been presented with a great opportunity if we will only take it. What we have seen in the courts is a move towards using electronic communication with these Zoom hearings you may have heard about. They are fantastic. Victims don't need to leave children at home to come and testify against their abuser. I watched a hearing this morning where a victim stayed at her home. She was legally blind. Her daughter was able to help her with testifying against her abuser, who happened to be her son in this case. I think what we are presented with is a tremendous opportunity if we will keep it and learn from it in using technology in protective orders and in civil cases. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, I'll read the question again. What do you think has been the greatest impact of COVID-19 on the operations of the county attorney's office? And do you believe there have been some outcomes which may positively impact how the county attorney's office functions as we move forward?
Okay, thank you.
The dog.
Okay. Yes, the COVID-19, well, right now, the county attorney, my understanding is they're all working from home, as I have, me and my staff have been working from home. So there's been adjustments to be made. But I do agree that, you know, the use of Zoom hearings has actually opened a whole new avenue for the courts and for attorneys in a way to make the system more efficient. And so I think we have been pleasantly surprised with Zoom hearings and how effective they have been in most instances. Now, the problem is trials. That's where I have a problem when they're contested hearings, because cross-examination is not the same unless it's in person, and the presentation of evidence can be awkward. But if we can work out some of these kinks until we resolve some of these issues, I mean, you know, until the pandemic is resolved, I think there's been good adjustment in there. But as far as the legal issues are concerned, there's a lot of legal issues out there with employment, with liability at the jail, and these are all new issues, but they're issues that need to be addressed.
Mr. Flores, we can no longer hear you. Well, on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm done?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's time for our second question. And since you were on a roll, I'll give it to Mr. Flores first.
We're alternating alphabetical order. So go ahead and unmute yourself, Mr. Flores.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Always ready.
COVID-19 has impacted the mental health of citizens, and it has an impact on families. If elected, which community organizations will you seek to partner with to support the needs of those who become involved in the legal system?
That's a great question. Obviously, you know, we have what used to be the women's shelter and the Purple Door. The county attorney has always been in partnership with that. And I agree with my opponent, a very, very important part of the county attorney's office is that part. And especially today, and, you know, when domestic violence is such an issue, not only here, but everywhere. And so we need to continue that partnership with the Purple Door, and formerly known as the Women's Shelter, and make sure that women, mostly women, but some men too, get the protection that they need. And so that partnership is important to continue. I know Laura, my predecessor, and the one who's supporting me, has endorsed me. She was actually active in that organization and actually helped, you know, draft some of the guidelines to make sure that women get adequately protected in that whole situation. She's been you know, progressive on women's rights, and I hope to continue that. I've always been pro-woman, and I believe that that's an important part of that job. So, you know, that's one organization.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Flores. Ms. Dorsey, would you like me to read the question again?
Oh,
And would you-
unmute yourself.
Unmute
I
yourself.
don't think so. It's what is partnerships with mental health, right?
Yes.
Okay. As chief of training at the Nueces County District Attorney's Office, I work also, one of my many hats that I wear is I work on the jail diversion program. And through them, I have developed relationships with the mental health and intellectual disability programs here in Nueces County. As part of my current duties, I work with these people to staff cases where offenders who have become what we call justice involved on both the misdemeanor level, felony level, we talk together, we staff cases, we find treatment, we ensure that people who need treatment get in touch with those things. And those relationships that I've developed since working in this program will only continue, and those relationships will serve in my role as county attorney.
Thank you very much. And the 1/3 and final question, and I'll go to you first, Ms. Dorsey, so you can stay unmuted. The county attorney is a member of the county collective bargaining team. If elected, which skills and experience will you rely on to be an effective member of this team?
Thank you. That's a great question. In working in the district attorney's office for the past on and off 13 years or so, I have developed relationships with law enforcement, with detectives, with union members from before. I have created friendships through my time at the district attorney's office and through my time as a solo practitioner or a dual practitioner with my husband in Dorsey and Dorsey. My ability to work with various agencies, DPS, CCPD, Robstown PD, I am familiar. I am grateful to work with police officers and detectives every single day. I value what they do. I back the blue. I am here for them. And I only want to continue that in the collective bargaining.
Thank you. And Mr. Flores, do you want me to
Yes.
repeat?
Yes, please.
Okay, the county attorney is a member of the county collective bargaining team. If elected, which skills and experience will you rely on to be an effective member of this team?
Okay, thank you. The one organization that does have collective bargaining is the Sheriff Officers Association, and I know all the leaders there, and they're all friends of mine. But at the same time, I know that my first responsibility is to the county. And so it takes somebody who has the skill and the knowledge in this area. Obviously, we want to protect the county, but we also have to look out for the employees. We want something fair. And as a son of a union member, my dad was union all his life, even before he immigrated from Mexico and to his very death. I am sensitive to that situation, and all the unions, many of the unions, you know, they haven't formally endorsed me, but I'm close to the members and I'm sympathetic to their cause. But at the same time, I know the county needs to be protected in the collective bargaining process, and so my experience in employment law will be helpful in that situation to make sure we get a good deal with the Sheriff Officers Association. But all employees, I think, need to be protected. Their civil service, which is a very important part of the whole county.
Okay, thank you. It's time to conclude with your closing statements. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Flores, so you can go ahead and unmute yourself again.
Okay.
And you have 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you once again for having me. League of Women Voters, I have great admiration for you and what you do for the community. I have the education, training, and experience to succeed as your next county attorney. Not only that, I have a good relationship with the present county attorney who can give me much guidance and to where needed. And again, she has endorsed me. The county has been and remains self-insured. your tax dollars are at issue. An attorney with the experience and education to deal with all the issues that arise, from the EOC and employment issues to the ever-changing civil rights law matters that arise, from the incidents to the jail to all the multitude of issues that arise in departments, CPS, protective orders, and mental commitment matters. I don't know how many of you know this, but most of the department heads of the county are elected, from the district clerk to the county clerk, to the tax assessors and collectors, the district attorney, and the county attorney's number one client, the sheriff. Therefore, in theory, each department is its own little fiefdom, independently operated. The county attorney is only as effective as the confidence he earns from those heads who choose to ignore the county attorney at their own peril or listen to them. Therefore, someone with the experience, knowledge, and ability to influence those departments heads to make the right decisions to keep the county and your tax dollars from incurring an unnecessary liability is needed. I believe.
Okay, Mr. Thank you. Ms. Dorsey, it's time for your closing statement, and you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much, League of Women Voters. I have appreciated this time to share with you and to share with you my experience. I'm very excited to run for county attorney, the things that we can do for this community. The county attorney's office has been one way for a very long time, and perhaps there are some things we can do better. I am here, I'm Jenny Dorsey, I'm asking for your vote for county attorney. I have legal experience. We're lawyers. We know how to do law. What's more is the experience that we bring from home, family, education before, experience before. This is managing an office. This is managing people. What I bring is the ability to do that, to educate people in how to know what their rights are, know about domestic violence and how to escape that domestic violence. What I bring as a woman attorney is the sympathy and the empathy that I have from being a mother and a woman attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for participating in our forum and helping the voters understand your point of view and your qualifications for this position. Thank you.